Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and today I am super excited to let you guys know about a project that I have been thinking about for a long time, but I was only thinking about it, other people actually brought it to life. As you guys know, I'm just a silly little guy on YouTube that just wants to entertain people and give some information and ultimately have a supportive community for those leaving the Jehovah's Witness organization. And I think people focusing on really giving support to people leaving other than just making videos is absolutely quintessential for the ex-Jehovah's Witness movement moving forward. So I want to introduce you guys to some of my friends that have actually set up an organization and have some structure to it versus just the block-headed banalities that might come into my brain on a Tuesday. But now we have people that are actually putting this into work, and I couldn't be more excited. Anyway, before we get into the video, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying this content and are looking forward to content like this. With all of that being said, let's do this. All right, first off, I want to introduce the Vice President of Operations for the Liberati, and her name is Ashley Campbell. Welcome, everyone, Ashley Campbell. Like, literally, welcome her. Like, go down below, comment, and say, hi, Ashley, or else I will be very angry.
Hi, Wally. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then we have the President of Operations for the Liberati, Daniel. Also, don't think that you get off the hook by not saying Daniel. That's two comments. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Daniel. We got to do this thing right.
Two separate ones. We prefer that.
Exactly. So anyway, everyone obviously around here knows that we're talking about exjw stuff. Ashley, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I grew up as a witness, and like a lot of us, it was my whole world. It was all that I knew. I was very invested, kind of my whole life, especially as a child going into my teens. But then I think I've heard this from a lot of people too, but once you kind of get a little bit older and are able to think for yourself, I started really having the doubts then. And I think the biggest thing that I always struggled with as a witness was relationships and having to stifle relationships with worldly people who I knew were great people and who I had just kind of natural relationships with. So when I was 17, I met a Jehovah's Witness guy, and 2 months after we started dating, we were engaged, and 6 months after that, we were married. So I was married at 18. I was really just a kid, doing what was expected of me by the community and trying to be a good Jehovah's Witness. And I thought that that would kind of propel my faith in a better direction. But it really did quite the opposite. And once I was married, I was so unhappy that I just wanted to get out. So that's when I left. I was 19 years old. I was disfellowshipped. And as you guys know, that means that I was excommunicated by the whole community and everyone who raised me. So after that, I was really kind of on my own in terms of like figuring my life out. Candidly, I had always felt depressed. I think for as long as I could remember, I felt that way. But after leaving, I really fell into a deep depression. So I was, 19, 20, 21. I could barely eat. I was 95 pounds. I was actually having real thoughts of suicide. I really had not addressed any of the trauma that I had been through from the cult, and I had no one supporting my healing or validating my experience. But after a while, I got connected with a group of local ex-witnesses, and that was when everything started to change for me. So since that time, I have healed, but I say with no exaggeration that the ex-witness community saved my life. So once I found it, I have never left, and I think I never will. I feel like ex-witnesses are my people. You guys are my tribe. And I do want to help everyone in the community who needs it. I never want anyone to go through the needless suffering that I went through. And I wish that I had had the community in my back pocket before I even left. So that is why I'm here. I love the community. And I want you to know, Wally, and you, Daniel, as well, how much what you both do means to me personally. I think that even just a little bit of support for people can go a long, long way. So that's it. That's my story.
I mean, that's truly like amazing because I think sometimes there is a overwhelming sense with even within the community of, well, why don't you just move on? Well, why don't you just move on? Well, why don't you just move on? And I think that's kind of a valid response to that, is because it's necessary. Sometimes this community is necessary because that support system that you lose kind of needs to be replaced with something less culty. And so I just value so much people that have that intention of just wanting to help people and not like, ooh, what can I gain? Or, ooh, what can I do for the community for, getting my own face out there. So I really appreciate that. That's great. And Daniel, how about you? First off, let's talk us through this beautiful mustache. I mean, that is one. I can't get enough of it.
I'm in my bleach blonde Ted Lasso phase. I'm in a different era of my life, but no, yeah, my name's Daniel Graves. I was born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm a third generation Jehovah's Witness. So both sides of my family pedigree is deep, inundated with witness theology. I went to public school, but during the summers I would auxiliary pioneer. As I graduated high school, instead of going to college or jumping right into marriage or having kids, I went to pioneering and then eventually Bethel. Leaving that, got married, and so I was married for about 16 years. 2 years we're dating, 14 years we're actually married, but then we went back to Bethel, so that was fantastic. That was a goal of ours, and so we were able to accomplish that together. But going to Brooklyn for a couple of years, Warwick for a couple of years, and then Walk Hill for a couple more. About 2 years ago, I disassociated. Now, however you want to crack that egg, either whether you fade or whether you disassociate, I think as long as people are able to live their authentic life and not still feel captive, that's what I want for people, their own autonomy, and you should leave a cult in whatever way you should. So for me, I made a public declaration. I went out for memorial talks. I was a U.S. branch representative from Bethel, and I thought I needed an equal and opposite reaction to that. And so I decided, even me emotionally, I knew that if I had a foot in and a foot out, I could maybe even cowtail and go back. So I thought, if I do a big stand that I can't really go back on, and my family, friends, and associates have to in some way deal with that, whether they do deal with that in a cognitive dissonance or whether they actually maybe wake up, I thought that was my best path forward. But as a result, I lost everything. So that's kind of why we're here today. Within a 45-minute conversation, my ex-wife said, if you can't be a Jehovah's Witness, I married a Jehovah's Witness. I want to be married to someone who still has my faith. And I don't know, spiritual endangerment within the house is something I really signed up for. So you pay for the divorce, you leave in your little Armageddon car, give her the nice car, the nice furniture, you leave with just nothing. And you have no one. And you don't have practical means to really find your footing. And so that's really what the Liberati is birthed out of, is this desperation of individuals in different groups. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later, but people who leave and now they don't have anything. There's a lot of activism, like you said earlier, Wadley, that pro and con or tit and tat against the organization, and that's always needed for your elements of deconstruction, but sometimes you need a landing pad when you jump off of this crazy thing and into this world, because you're kind of a refugee. You had your tribe and you've left it and they've all turned your back, or their back on you, and yet you still have this us versus them mentality as you go out into the world. And so you're kind of this party of one before you're able to fully transition. So we're trying to help lubricate that is to like help people leave and feel like, okay, I can have some sensibility about how that's going to go. And then when they actually get out there, not only survive it, but thrive as they're living, because I had probably some of the darkest and scariest periods of my life that if I faded, the conversations would have probably happened over 4 or 5 years, but all the conversations that would have happened over that time happened in 48 hours. And so it was jarring, it was aggressive, it was traumatic. And so I'm trying to help people to not have that, because I was able to live through it. Some other people may not be able to do that. Some other people may be able to live through it, but forever be affected by the trauma. So we're trying to help cushion the blow.
I think it's just absolutely amazing that more and more people are getting involved and that are trying to set up things like this, because like YouTube is one thing and support systems are another and people that document court cases are another, and there's so many different ways that we can help. And I just really am so excited that you guys are really like taking this big step forward. But with all of that being said, I did just want to mention to anyone real quick, after we get done with the main video, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, and I'll upload that to the Patreon. And if anyone wants to join the Patreon, all of the proceeds for the next month from that are actually going to go to the Liberati in order to help people as well. So we'll just have a little bit of goofy discussion, not really talking about, it might not even be talking about ex-witness stuff. I haven't even told them I'm doing this, but that's because I just think of things off the seat of my pants and I just run with it. It sounds good to me. You love that. But with that being said, what is the Liberati?
We are the Liberati. We are survivors of high control religion. We believe every human being has the right to life, liberty, security, and the pursuit of happiness. As a result, we have united to create a safe space to empower survivors to be set free and find keys to unlock their true potential. We are actively building a safe and supportive community by educating, counseling, and even coaching others. Together we are stronger. Together we can create a global network of human rights activists to assist and uplift thousands of survivors today. Will you support our movement? Together, we can make a difference.
Why exactly then did you say, hey, I would like to spend hundreds of hours and lots of money in order to do this project? Like why did it kind of get started for you?
I don't want to talk or speak for all 7 members of the Liberati, but I feel a moral responsibility. I think it's an ethical thing to do, is to lend out a reaching hand and try to help somebody if they truly want that. We're not into taking down the Watchtower, watching it burn, or trying to coax people out.
That's my job. I got this.
Wally, that's Wally's world.
Yeah, I'm on it. I got you.
After they watch Wally's videos, they come to the Liberati like, exactly. Okay, so how do I do this?
Exactly. Okay. And now I know it's all a bunch of nonsense. How do I become a normal person now?
So I think that's kind of the main objective of why it got started. I had rumblings of an idea when I left about a little over 2 years ago. We've had other members of our board that also had the same thing. And as we've kind of connected and shared meals together and just realized that we're truly not alone, this collective consciousness comes together. And then we had a core 4. Then I think 4 or 5 months ago, we added another 3. So we're just really starting to build, and we're in the infancy stages, but that's kind of how it started and kind of the grassroots momentum. Last year, about this time, little under, is when we had our first board meeting. So nice. It's been a thought pattern of all of ours that we've slowly got to merge into each other's life.
And I think it is important that, there are a lot of different people, and that was the problem I was coming up with when I was like, how can I do this thing? Is because it was just always me, and trying to get apostates together is herding cats. I don't know how you guys managed to do it, but you did, so shout outs to you. But I think it is important that you have a lot of different people, because there's always going to be differing viewpoints and different ideas, but that's a healthy thing. It's always going to be healthy to have, some sort of checks and balances, if you will. So if like one person is trying to do it, then it might get skewed in one direction or the other. So you have 7 members, you said, now on the board currently?
Yeah.
And like going forward, are you hoping to like expand more? Are you kind of just like want it to be manageable so it's not like consuming all of your time? Because obviously running a nonprofit can be very time consuming, but what's sort of the vision going forward?
I think, going forward, we would love to expand as much as we can, but you're right. We are constrained by our own schedules and contributing as much as we can. We want this to grow. We want to help as many people as we possibly can. And we are looking for people who truly need the help. Some folks may have some support when they leave. And though it may be nice to have additional support, they don't actually desperately need it. So we're looking for those people who are especially vulnerable, folks who really desperately need our help in order to leave. Because like Daniel was saying, we're not trying to pull people out, but we are trying to be that landing pad for folks who are ready to live authentically, but maybe can't do it on their own, and a lot of us have struggled so much. I think the struggle is really needless when you have so many people who are willing to be there for you.
And when you say like support, obviously that comes in a lot of different ways, but why do you guys like value like the support system? Because like my way of supporting people, just because I'm limited by my time, is to just have all of the content out there, and then someone can watch a video or feel like, oh, okay, I'm not alone in the world or anything. But what's sort of your vision for offering support to people?
Do you want to go into your vision, Ashley? Or the vision, I guess?
So, I think like you said, Wally, it can be nice just to have someone validate your experience, right? That was huge for me because when I left, I didn't have any other ex-witnesses to talk to. So I didn't realize that there were other people going through what I was going through. I thought I was the only one. Which, like, hindsight, like, kind of not the most intelligent place that
I'm the only one in the world that's ever left this religion, and my life stinks.
Yeah, but as a 19-year-old kid, it's like,
what are you gonna do? I was a 19-year-old Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. So, I'll give you our vision from the website. Our vision is to unite a global network of human rights activists. So really, focusing on folks leaving high control faith groups, to assist and uplift thousands of survivors, beginning with former Jehovah's Witnesses. So we're not just going to stop there, but the entire board is made up of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. That's obviously our specialty for now, but hopefully we can expand. I think we all all of us on the board have become familiar with other high control faith groups and have been a part of different groups that collectively, make up a bunch of different cults, I guess. So, but we do want to support anyone leaving a similar type of group. So we're also going to be sharing success stories of people who are thriving after leaving. We're holding online group discussions. We're doing it monthly now. So we have a Liberati Facebook group. I do recommend that anyone who is on Facebook try to find us, and through our website you can find us and join. The online discussions are so awesome, so amazing. So many great people join, and people have a lot to add and a lot to talk about. We're also doing in-person events and retreats for education. Part of our vision too is to raise enough money to give academic scholarships to people so that they can pursue their dreams and really, really thrive on the outside.
About the Facebook group and the Zoom meetups, if there are any physically in, mentally out, watching, questioning, curious about what that would be like, it's kind of set up just like an AA meeting. It's kind of, we want to invite everyone to come in, just tell their story. There's themes, but you can share, organically kind of evolve. So sometimes we'll start with a theme and we may end up on a different topic, or someone wants to share. It may be their first time, so they may get a little emotional, but that's what we want. We want a safe place where people can talk about those things. So the logistics about joining is you could go to liberati.org and join the Facebook group through there. It's a private Facebook group, so you can hopefully be protected from your anonymity and not post that out there. And then we monitor those things so that there's not people spying or coming in and starting trouble within the Zoom group. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I know there will be people watching and curious. But I know that I didn't even start watching an apostate material until the night after I disassociated. So there is such a stigma with people who are in, even if they don't believe, they don't jump into that. So I do want to put that out there for those that might take the plunge, knowing that there's a little bit more of layers between them and, keeping their personality safe.
Yeah, and also
And
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yes, Ashley.
also, I just want to say too, if you're nervous about joining a group like that and like having eyes on you, you can just join and keep your camera and your audio off. And you could put in the chat, I'd like to stay anonymous, and no one's gonna call on you. You don't have to say anything. You can just witness the group. So just saying that too, if you're not ready, that's totally fine. We respect that as well.
and the level of understanding that people have within the group. You have people that were in Bethel for years, people that have been elders for years, people that have pioneered for years. So a lot of people understand a lot of the dynamics. And the nice thing, too, is a lot of us have been out for quite some time. So it's not only do we understand what it's like being a Jehovah's Witness, but we also understand what it's like not being a Jehovah's Witness, which is an important thing because that's ultimately the goal of the entire thing. So as far as you mentioned, you're going to share success stories going forward. Are those going to be posted on Liberati.org that people can find at Liberati.org? I don't know if anyone missed it, but I think it's called Liberati.org, right?
Yeah.
We should start with that.
www.http://
theliberati.org. Yeah. So if we, as we get consent from people that we have helped, and we get a nice picture and a nice bio written up, we put that up on the website.
Yeah.
And so nothing goes up on the website unless we have, expressed written consent. But yeah, as we work with people, like we have a fundraiser right now going on, hoping to get a young disfellowshipped man a used car so we can go back and forth. We helped him get new employment and a place to land, an apartment. So we're just trying to help raise enough funds so he can get a car so he can drive back and forth between those two, because he's in a pretty high control religion, but also high control household. So he's trying to make his way all the way out. There's another experience I wanted to share. It's we'll keep them anonymous, but about less than 2 years ago, I did a YouTube activist video, and a couple of people connected with me through my Instagram, and one of these was physically and mentally out Bethelite, and here in the United States. And so for about a year, I talked with him back and forth when he would have questions, and eventually never knew his face, just assumed that trust was there. And then eventually he and his girlfriend got in trouble. They got disfellowshipped, and they didn't have anything. He didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, it would be easy to go home and just be back into that bubble and get wrapped up in it again. But since we had been talking and this was starting to form, that was really the first time we were able to collect enough funds amongst some of us and reach out to some others that we knew in the community and help them get from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. They were able to find jobs, and now they've moved on to Colorado. So we're really proud of them, but those are the types of things that we want to help with. Sometimes it might just be conversations and feeling heard. Sometimes it's going to be a place to stay as they're traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast. Other times, it may be cash. Or a meal together, buying something like that. Just something that kind of shows community, something that shows our humanity, and that people on the outside can be very good. But we do have kind of a last-ditch effort call to arms, I guess, or call to, Ashley, would you want to talk a little bit about that, dissect that?
Yeah, so, we are really relying on folks in the community to help us raise those funds that we are willing to offer. Everything that we do is going to depend on what people can offer others. So first, we really hope that you'll check out our website. Everything's there. All of our mission, vision, values is there. All of our events, we have an events page where you can see all of our online and in-person meetups as well. We hope that you, if you can spare anything, will donate to our mission. As Daniel mentioned, there is someone that we are trying to help right now who really could use funds to get a car. Anything helps. Anything that you can give would be so appreciated if you can. And also, just spreading the word about our mission is so incredibly vital to our mission. Making sure that people know that we exist and that we are here for support. We need to find people that need help, and we can only do that through members of the community spreading the word to each other. If you know anyone who is a PMO and who needs that desperate help, please refer them to us. Give them our website. They can go right on the website and fill out a contact form. They can do it anonymously, so they can put their alias in there if they don't want to use their name. Again, privacy is such a huge thing for us because, like Daniel said, we've all been there and we totally understand what you're going through. There is no judgment. We're a judgment-free zone, and it's totally safe. So yeah, folks can go right on the website and contact us through there. So yeah, we just appreciate any support that anyone can offer. It's so important to us, and we appreciate it so much.
You gotta go a little harder, Ashley. If everyone watching this video goes to the Liberati.org and donates $1, that could change someone's life. Come on,
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
My goodness, that could change so many people's lives, and that could really help us help some more people, because there is a lot of human hours that we just pour into this initiative, and we want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
I think for full transparency, I think we're not only trying to just get donations, we do want to get grants. We're seeking other avenues to secure funding, but we're young. We're in our infancy stage. So just last year, we had our last board meeting, like I highlighted. The launch of the website was July 4th, Independence Day. So now we're doing our first initiative, and this is our first really call to action on some sort of public format other than just our little Liberati.org website. So
Wait, I missed that?
please. And then also, we truly want to be a transparent organization. We're so used to just being told what to do.
Yes.
And we just have to let that yes mean yes, and we can't question it. But if you have questions, comments, concerns, let us know. We want to be better. We want a refined organization that really can reflect the community and the best parts of the community. Not the bitter part, but the better part. So please get on there and let us know how we can change and how we can better help the community.
Because none of us, we're just trying to do the best that we can. I'm just speaking from my experience, and you're not going to get everything right 100% of the time, all the time, forever. But that feedback that you get from people, or it takes a tribe, essentially. And when we do come together and we have a common goal, like, okay, we know we want to get here. Now let's put our heads together and see how we can get there. I think that is absolutely so important.
I guess the ex-witness community is so important. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who is watching this video and making this happen. And just watching this video is a little contribution. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. As always, stay safe, be kind, and don't forget to smile. And you better have a good-ass day.
You better have a good-ass day.